Hola, mi amigos, and welcome to the Sir Gladiator Show. I'd like to discuss what was just an unbelievable ending to the third game of the World Series. Something that took place just hours ago at the time of this recording. The game itself was a good game, a lot of back and forth action. And then the umpires just declare a winner instead of letting it end on the field. The game was going to go to extra innings because the runner was uh, thrown out at home. If you didn't see it, if you don't know what happened, and the game was going to go to extra innings, but one umpire decided that he was just going to award the game to the team of his choice, and he was going to do so uh, through reasoning that was beyond belief for those that actually saw it. Now, I understand that technically speaking, the term they used was obstruction. The defender was obstructing the runner. That was the excuse he used for giving the game to the team that he wanted to give it to. But of course, the problem with that is those of us who were watching the game could see he was not obstructing the runner. The runner could very easily have scored if he wasn't injured. The runner was thrown out not because he was obstructed. He was thrown out because he couldn't run. He was hurt. He was a pinch hitter. He wasn't playing in the whole other part of the game because he had an injury. He was in there to hit. He could not run. So he could have easily gone around the guy. You say, well, but maybe you shouldn't have to go around the guy. But okay, but there's one simple problem with that. Even if you want to say he, all right, yes, he very easily could have gone around him, but he shouldn't have to. The fact is, he went outside of the baseline, well outside the baseline, in order to run into the defender who's just laying there on the ground. Defender's laying there on the ground because he's incompetent. Okay, he missed the ball. And he missed a ball earlier that cost his team 2 runs. This Middlebrooks, I think it was his name. I mean, obviously Napoli should have been playing third. Not this guy. He can't hit. He can't field. He's not good for anything. He should not have been in the game. All right, nobody's saying that this guy's any good, but he was not in the baseline. He wasn't even close to being in the baseline. You can't obstruct someone from running the baseline when you're not anywhere near the baseline. The runner is injured. He's stumbling around, and he stumbles out of the baseline and into the defender. That is not who is on the ground. That is not the defender's fault. It is not the defender's responsibility to keep the runner from running outside of the baseline and into him. He was out of his way. He was well out of his way if he was in the baseline. So runner goes out of the baseline, maybe on purpose, maybe just because he's hurt and he's stumbling around. But it's not obstruction when he's not obstructed from running the base path. He went well outside the baseline. I keep repeating that because that's the key point. They say he's obstructed, and that the phrase that they like to use is that intent doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that he didn't intend to obstruct him. And of course, we know he didn't intend to obstruct him, because all he was doing was laying there on the ground after having missed the ball that was thrown to him because he is incompetent. So he's not trying to do anything. He isn't capable of doing anything. I hope to not see this guy the rest of the series. He is an incompetent player that I don't know how he's on any major league team, much less a World Series team. So no defending this guy. But the point is that he was not in the way of the runner. If the runner is actually running the baseline. If he's running the bases properly, according to the rules, there's a baseline. You see the baseline. He's nowhere near it. He's well off to, the right. If anything, when runners round third, they round it off to the left. They do not come back toward the pitcher's mound, in the direction of the pitcher's mound. They go the other way. This guy comes inside the third base line, and they call interference. I mean, it's just horrible. This is the same umpire that tried to call the Boston guy out at second in Game 1 when the St. Louis guy didn't even have the ball. He didn't even have the ball, and the umpire called him out. I mean, this is by all appearances an extremely biased referee who has zero credibility to make any kind of judgment call whatsoever. After what he did in Game 1, and so then here in Game 3, he's calling obstruction on a guy who was laying on the ground, nowhere near the base path. Okay, and so this is just unreal. It is horrible. I have taken to calling him St. Louis Jim. His name is Jim Joyce, and I would humbly suggest that you call him that as well, because that's a nickname that he has earned. He is St. Louis Jim. St. Louis is, I mean, it sure appears that is his team. All his calls, both of his controversial and wrong calls have been in St. Louis's favor. So St. Louis Jim just awarded a World Series game to the team of his choice. I mean, this has never happened before in the history of the World Series, ever. And there would be a reason for that. This is unbelievable. I'm a baseball fan. I'm a big baseball fan. And this is an outrage. I mean, it really is. The game was tied. It was going to go to extra innings. It's going to be an extra inning game in the World Series. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that, right? Excitement, drama, back and forth. It was a great game, and this guy ruins it with this horrible call. And all you hear, you hear people want to defend him, say, "Oh well, it was obstruction. The intent doesn't matter." What difference does it make what his intent was? We all agree he had no intent, because the guy's incompetent. He couldn't have intent. What would he be intending to do? He's intending to learn how to be a decent baseball player. That's what he's intending. But he is well outside the baseline, and none of the rest of the stuff that they say to try to justify that call matters. I understand they want to be on the good side of the referees. Maybe some people, I don't know what their reasons are for trying to defend this call. They like the Cardinals. They don't want to get Bud Selig angry at them. Whatever. There's no defending this. I mean, you see it with your eyes, and you see how wrong it is. I mean, it's just that simple. You look, say, here's the baseline way over there. Here's where the defender is. Here's where the runner is. Nowhere near it. He's running into the defender. You say, well, the runner's he's obstructing the runner. He's only obstructing the runner because the runner's running nowhere near where he's supposed to run. You're not supposed to be running over there. I mean, what the heck? It's crazy. It's crazy, and you say better to laugh than cry, or be angry. I'm outraged, but not gonna yell and scream about it. You can laugh at it because it is absurd. But it is an outrage, and this type of thing should not be allowed to happen. It should have been overturned, like they overturned the other guy's other horrible call, in Game 1. It should have been overturned, but it wasn't. Maybe because people were running on the field and whatnot, and they didn't want to, get together and discuss it. They just wanted to get the heck out of there. Whatever their reason was, they didn't overturn it like they should have, and they allowed the game to be ruined. They ruined Game 3 of the World Series, and it's a darn shame. And I am outraged by it. And I hope that you are as well. And I just wanted to share that with you, the fans, my thoughts on what happened, because this is huge. I don't know how many of your baseball fans or even saw it and know what I'm talking about, but trust me when I tell you, this was huge. It's never before happened in the history of the World Series, and the World Series has been going a long time. All right, and nobody's has ever tried to award a game to a team like this before. Players win it on the field. You win it by getting the game-winning hit, or the game-losing error, or something like that. You don't have an umpire simply award a World Series game to the team that he wants to award it to. It should, it doesn't work like that. It's never worked like that before, and it certainly should not have worked like that tonight. Or I guess now, at the time of this taping, it was last night. But whatever. It's just absurd, and I would hope that there would be some disciplinary action, or at the very least, some sort of action to prevent this from ever happening again. Some sort of automatic, review, so that they could overturn something like this. I mean, it's just horrible. But oh well. Here's hoping that the rest of the series is much better officiated. We know that in Game 1, they almost, they did screw Boston, but it got overturned. So they got to have their big inning, and then they won. And they probably, or at least may very well have won tonight. They had all the momentum headed their way, for the extra innings. Boston probably better than even chance of winning tonight if they hadn't been screwed by this call. So they've been screwed in 2 out of 3 games. Again, the one was overturned, the other was not. But the same guy, St. Louis Jim, making the calls. If they could just replace him with somebody else, maybe that would be better. Maybe they could fix it. I mean, that's assuming that these decisions aren't coming from higher up. Like in the NBA, when you figure this is at the highest levels, they're telling the referees to call things Miami's way. It's not the referees that are making the decision. But I think here it seems like it may not be the higher ups. It may just be St. Louis Jim, saying, hey, I want St. Louis to win. It seems like that's the thinking. And then in this guy's mind, he wants St. Louis to win, and any chance he gets to help them is what he's doing, and maybe not. Maybe he's just genuinely incompetent. I mean, I'm not making any accusations. I was saying what it looks like. It looks like he wants St. Louis to win. He could simply just be incompetent. I don't know what's in his head. But one way or another, he does not belong as part of the officiating crew in this World Series, and it sure would be nice if they replaced him with somebody. But in any event, again, hopefully the rest of the series will be much better officiated. Certainly the scrutiny will probably be higher on them, so maybe just for that reason alone, they'll at least try to give the appearance of better refereeing, right? Umpiring. This is baseball, umpiring, right? Anyway, so until next time, here's hoping for better, fairer refereeing, umpiring, I did it again, for the rest of the World Series. Hope that everyone has a great day today, that you enjoyed the show, and Please let me remind you that if you haven't already, to please subscribe and to like my videos. I certainly like having you watch them. So have a great day, and thanks for watching.